I think part of the problems that a lot of the general public, including our own families, have seen and I've experienced is that what are you going to say? Bad white guy, good Indian. And that's not what we're saying. We're saying the truth, history. So my grandmother told me, this is what happened from soldiers at this fort. This is what happened right over here in McQueenie by civilians, by German immigrants. This is what happened, at those places. This happened in those years. And this is what actually happened, and this is a historical references. I didn't write those. They wrote. If I had wrote them out, well, she made that up. But if they wrote them, okay, that must be truth then. So that's what I used, their history. I just inject our perspective in it. So I made my own historical landmarks. Years ago, I'd taken my dad to in Eagle Pass. We were regulars there, and I says, "Hey, Dad, have you ever read that historical landmark in front of Fort Duncan?" He goes, "Yeah, it's the history of that fort." I said, "But have you read it?" He goes, "Well, yeah, I must have read it." Okay. So the next day, I took him over for breakfast. Before I went to breakfast, took him over there. We parked the car right there and walked up to it. So let me read it to you. It says, Fort Duncan established 1852, named after such an, and it says it was here as a base of operations against the hostile Lipan Apaches. It's you, Dad. He laughed. Hostile, but that's not what this is it? This fort, amongst other forts, were instrumental in ridding all of western Texas of all the Indians. That's you, Dad. He laughed again, not so loud this time, more subdued. We thought for a while, well, what can you do? They're in control. So what I did is made my own historical landmark. One of them in reference to Remolino, and in my grandmother's perspective of Remolino and how they viewed that same period in history, that same day in history, and how she managed to survive it, and how, well, we were fighting for our freedoms. We crossed into Mexico because traditionally that was the river. It wasn't a border. It was the river. We lived there and lived here. It's like, yeah, just because you cross the Guadalupe River here or San Antonio, you didn't go to another country. My dad was born in 1923. Go back and forth, walking across, swimming across the river all the time. Until all of a sudden one day they say, hey, you can't do that. What are you guys doing? We lived in Kimau, right there on the river. And so they still did it, but they had to sneak back and forth all the time. And then once in reference to other historical, because in Texas there's over 12,000 historical landmarks. And which one has been written by Apaches? Not one. Yet that history, it's history. They're all, hey, Judge so-and-so lived here. And what happened to the 112 Apaches that were massacred themselves? Not even references made. So that history is kind of slanted through the eyes of who wrote the history.